Hello, Collective. Wendy Joy. Love, light, and positivity. When I was talking to my spirit team today, they kept telling me to wait, to be patient, to accept change, to be alert, to use my intuition, to rely on my discernment, to pivot, maybe to see another perception, but to rely on my inner knowing, to rely on what I know, feels, and resonates to be true to me. And that makes a whole lot of sense, because when I picked up the phone today to make this video, the time was 12:21. And that's just an example of the repeating numbers, the synchronicities, the stepping signs of progression, like 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, that I've been seeing for pretty much as soon as I was really aware that numbers held significance and that there was meaning behind the energy that was portrayed in a pattern of numbers that you may, or I actually, have been seeing for a period of time. And those energies are powerful. And I always knew that energy existed and that it could be used good, bad, well, probably not so much indifferent, because then it would just lay stagnant. But I never once associated, until I became aware, that number patterns existed so close to home. Meaning, they use numerology, that is, the blueprint is listed with numbers and letters, where letters signify different numbers, and, down the line. Then there's also Roman numerals, which I didn't realize were more like symbols, not so much a different way of writing numbers. Or they could be both. I mean, I'm learning. I'm taking a better look at the things that I once thought were, fact, and learning that they're kind of only partially fact, and that the rest of it is kind of ad-libbed in the perception of the person or a group of people that originally put definition down to a visual thing. Like, you see an apple, you know that it's an apple because someone told you it's an apple. You know what I mean? So it may not be an apple. It could be a Chinese apple, which is different than an American apple. Way different. Although they're kind of like similar in their wording. So you should always question the meanings of things as well. I know I've been doing that my whole life. I just never realized that I should be so ever picky and question everything. At one point, it felt kind of exhausting to try to figure out why, what, and where. But now it just seems that I resonate more with what's coming up to me, and that's because I pivoted my mindset and I'm walking in a direction that I'm being led that isn't pulling me backwards, trying to micromanage, the universe or what's going on, but flowing with the energy and rising to the occasion and putting my best foot forward and allowing that emotion, that feeling, that sensation, that direction, that resonates with my inner knowing, guide my footsteps. And some can say that walking blindly into faith is allowing the ultimate one to guide your footsteps. Either way, it's a safe place to be. And if you're questioning anything along your route, then make a list and, try checking off different things that, oh, my nose again, that you resonate with, or that you have a different view of, or that you have a better understanding with. And if that still leaves you in a place of lack, then please call me, reach out. Because no matter what is before me, what may be on my to-do list, because that changes every day, because life doesn't stay the same, and it's not a repetitive thing where you have to go back every week and, mop the floor and dust and, however your routine is. It's that life is filled with diversity, and there's always something that's being added to the energy. And that's because we live in a world where there are millions, billions, sometimes, I don't even know, maybe trillions. There's just a lot of people here. And with a lot of people and a lot of live organisms that all carry energy, there's a lot going on in the atmosphere. And sometimes it may be a little bit difficult to stay clear, especially if, you find yourself wandering, your focus going to a place that maybe you might feel safe. And if you find yourself doing that, then snap out really quick, snap out and be like, wait, no. And, take that feeling of euphoria that you wanted to bask in and bring it out into the public view. Like, bring it with you. And instead of fading away into that feeling, share it. Giggle, laugh, smile, And if it's an opposite feeling, work it out. Find out what makes you, counteractive to joy, and try to iron out the things that you can control, and understand that what you can't control, you should really maybe consider forgiving yourself for. Because when things are outside of your control and you don't have any way to put them back together again, or at least it's an upward battle, meaning that it's tough to do, then that means that it was never meant for you to mend it or fix it, but to learn from the lesson that you're being gifted by the experience. And that could also be on your to-do list. I know I've got tons of lists. I like lists. I've got mental lists. I've got physical lists. I've got, affirmations that, state how I want to feel and what I want to be and how I'm going to get there. That's a list too, Those are called positive affirmations, or I am affirmations. And when you compile as much positivity onto your list as you possibly can, then any negative that might be there, like a chore, like something that's, you feel that it's a bore, bring that euphoria that you once, tried to sink into that task, and bring life and joy. So that chore is no longer a bore, and it becomes a wanted activity that maybe you can even include another activity with. I do that too. So if I think that something is mundane, I'll add movement, and mostly physical. So when I'm cleaning, for example, whether I'm standing upright or I'm on my hands and knees, because cleaning happens in both directions, up and down, I incorporate lunges, and I sing, and I whistle, and I hum, and I stretch out my body, and I overextend and then pull myself back, making it a fun time instead of a have to do time. Because I choose to look at life that there's nothing I have to do, but there are a lot of things that I choose to do. I choose to do them for growth or development, for the betterment of me, my environment, others. I choose to make my my backyard as pretty as I can, for example, my house as inviting as possible, and not for, other people mainly, but for me, because this is my domain, and you should feel comfortable and safe and creative and flowing in a positive motion within your environment. And I strive to do that, whether I've got money to buy things to make it better, or if I use my imagination and my intuition and my brain power to think of different things I could reuse and remake. Like, for example, I got the cats a cat stand, a cat scratch thing, right? And they knock it over all the time. I mean, okay, whatever. 2 of them can't play it on one time. But you know what I do have that I could repurpose? I have a tree stand. I have a big rounded plastic with the screws that go into the trunk of the tree stand. And I could most definitely put something that is the size of the well in there, stuff it in there, and then wrap it with activity items like rug, maybe even roll up a rug and stick it in there, or cardboard, and then put the corrugation on it, or even get hemp rope, cat hemp rope, or whatever kind of rope that they chew up, and that's inventive, and that doesn't really cost that much. I was looking to see what these things cost, and there are some people, some organizations that seem to think that you should pay a great deal for what you can use your own imagination and your own intuition, or ingenuity. There you go, ingenuity. You can use your own ingenuity in order to create. Well, confirmation, I guess. One dog is crying, the other dog is barking. Gosh only knows what they see. I know what they see. They're telling me, go outside and clean up the pen and get it all ready, because it's time that we go out and enjoy the fresh air. And they are right, but they can't go out there. It's yucky yet. Muddy and dirty, and I have to clean it up. But I'm a sissy Lala, and it's a little bit chilly out there for me. So instead of bundling up in my heavy jacket to go get filthy, I'm going to wait until the weather gets just a little bit warmer for Wendy. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to incorporate my indoor to-do list along with my daily list and my positive affirmation list. And I am going to hum and whistle and incorporate loving, compassionate movement in all of what I do. Not just today, but every day. Because I look for the benefit out of life. I'm done with having to endure and chore through, because I know now that I can create my own future by the power of my mind. And now you know it too. So what future are you going to create? What lists are you going to make? let me know. I can't wait. My lovely collective, I so do value you and everything that you strive to do. And if you need encouragement, strength, positivity, love, light, or pretty much anything in between, reach out. You never know what I can lend, how I can support, or what guidance I can offer. My lovely collective, I do encourage you to live life with love and love living life. Blessed be my lovely collective family. Oh, I'm stuck. Okay, here we go. Have a good day, my lovely honeys.